Hello, dear friends. Over the last couple of weeks, we lost some people to cancer that have been on our prayer list. One was a new mom, and another a 7-year-old boy. It's hard to make sense of this kind of loss, and we want to ask God why. Why did a mom with a 3-week-old baby have to die? She fought so hard to live, but she could not hold on. How do we grasp the suffering of a little child who has not even experienced much of life at all? We might be tempted to be angry with God or blame Him, even accuse Him. But we cannot know all that is involved in the decision about the length of a person's life. It is God who determines the number of our days. We are not promised tomorrow, but does that mean that God is not good or that He doesn't care about our pain? There are reasons for everything that God does or allows, and they have to be good. We must trust that He is good and will bring good from it. So remember the story of Lazarus, the brother of Mary and Martha. Jesus was close to the family, and they sent word to Him that Lazarus was sick. But Jesus knew what He had to do, and so He delayed His going to them. He waited until Lazarus had died. John 11:11. He said to them, "Our friend Lazarus sleeps, but I go that I may awaken him out of sleep." Upon coming to the grieving family, Martha met him and said, in John 11:21, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now, whatever you will ask of God, God will give you." So Martha, in her grief, laid the blame on Yeshua because He wasn't there. He didn't come. She knew that He could have prevented the death. But even still, she believed that He could turn the situation around. In John 11:25, Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die." Do you believe this? So my friends, do you believe this? John 11:32, and Mary had come where Jesus was. Seeing Him, Mary fell down at His feet, saying to Him, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." And then when He saw her weeping, and also the Jews who came with her weeping, Jesus groaned in the spirit and troubled Himself, and Jesus wept. So why did Jesus weep? Was it because He was sad for the people or grieved over Lazarus? Remember, without faith you cannot please God. Martha laid blame, "If you had been here," but quickly followed with a statement of faith, "But even now, Lord." And Mary said the same words, "If you had been here." But she just kept weeping. No hope, no faith. And also other people murmured, "Was not this man who opened the eyes of the blind able to cause that even this one should not have died?" But it was necessary for Lazarus to die. He had to lie in the grave for 4 days, until the time that his body would begin to break down. To raise him up at that point, not only bringing his spirit back into his body, but restoring an already decaying body, was evidence, hard evidence, that Jesus is who He says He is, the resurrection and the life. He is the light of life that comes into every man. We needed to see this. We needed to have this account to give us hope. Hope that no matter how long a person is in the grave, He can raise us up again, just as He promised. I believe Jesus wept because they did not believe. We do not grieve like the world grieves because we have hope. As believers in Christ, we have hope. 1 Thessalonians 4:13. "But I would not have you ignorant, brothers, concerning those who are asleep, that you be not grieved, even as others who have no hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so God will bring with Him all those who have fallen asleep through Jesus." I personally know the grief of losing a child to cancer. I don't know if I asked why at that time, but I believe that God could heal him, and truly he could have. But I also know that God honored his desires as well, and I believe that it was to go home to be with the Lord. The evidence of true faith is the lack of fear in death. The Apostle Paul said in Philippians 1:21, "For to me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. But if I live in the flesh, this is the fruit of my labor. Yet I do not know what I shall choose. For I am pressed together by the two, having a desire to depart and to be with Christ, which is far better. But to remain in the flesh is more needful for you." So here was a man torn between his desire to depart and go to the Lord, or remain because he was needed here by the believers to establish them in faith. Clearly, Paul was convinced it was far better to depart. To live is Christ, to die is gain. Sometimes our loved ones are left with the same struggle. They want to go, but they stay because they are so connected to you. But loved ones, be encouraged. You have suffered loss, or are trying to comfort someone who has. The Lord is at the door. The time of his coming is near, and this temporary separation will end quickly. 1 Thessalonians 4:15. For we say this to you by the word of the Lord, that we who are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord shall not go before those who are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so we shall ever be with the Lord. Therefore comfort one another with these words. So just as Jesus comforted Martha and told her, "Your brother will rise again," no, your loved ones will rise again. All who are in Christ will be reunited very soon, and all the suffering and sorrow will flee away, and God will wipe away every tear. As we look at butterflies today, we realize that God is going to change our lowly state, our wormy state in this earthly place, into something beautiful and glorious, and that is what awaits all of us who are awake or asleep. So rejoice in the God who is the resurrection and the life. He is faithful who promised.